Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to Pep Talks, another edition of Pep Talks in the Morning. My name is Michelle Davis. I'm your guest host today. Well, election season is in the air. We at the Progressive Empowerment Party are busy on the ground in your constituencies, and we are bringing the candidates directly to your viewership this week and the following weeks to come. We want the opportunity for you to meet the candidates in person, for us to have a one-on-one discussion as to the issues facing the various constituencies in Trinidad and Tobago, and really get a feel for what is going on in this country. So today I have the pleasure, the absolute pleasure of introducing Mr. Akil Camps, who I have had the absolute pleasure of working with over 3 years now. Good morning, Akil.
Morning, Michelle, and morning, the rest of Trinidad and Tobago. It's nice to be here. It's a brand new
Thank
day.
you. Thank you.
Uh,
Right. So, Akil, I wanted to read your bio first to give the audience a feel for your background. So, just allow me a little minute here. So, Akil Camps is a resource manager and leader for the Progressive Empowerment Party Northern Regional Hub of Constituencies. Apart from a wide range of academic qualifications and experience, Akil is a farmer to his heart. After graduating from Fatima College with distinctions in technical drawing and geography, he quickly delved into the world of entrepreneurship. After a relatively short stint as an employee, his endeavors range from landscaping to joinery to his beloved agriculture, as we know that is such a hot topic in Trinidad right now. As he said, nothing makes me happier than to see the seed I plant grow into a tree that bears fruits or a plant that grows into vegetables. His approach to whatever role he embraces, including the political sphere, is to offer himself as a humble employee. He offers the skills that he has developed over the years of work experience, perseverance, and the wish to succeed. One of PEP's policies that attracted Akil to the party was the act of law of recall that gives citizens the right to fire their MP, and we'll talk about that, Akil. Basically, it really says you're not working. Guess what? You got to go. If they are not doing their job, so he's happy to work with such a law as he himself presents himself for a candidate of Saint Anne's East. So Akil, let's go into that policy that attracted you because we know we haven't seen something like that in Trinidad before, in Trinidad and Tobago, a law that basically addresses non performance. And you and I have been on the ground, and we know the comments we hear. People have not seen their MPs for 5 years. And the utter audacity right now is the same MPs are now actually, some of them are even admitting that they were absent. Some are actually coming to your doorstep and saying, give me another 5 years. So, Akil, what do you that policy? Explain that to the public and why that stood out for you.
firstly, that should have been a policy long time. Something should have been in place to deal with people who given a job and not doing it. I mean, if you hire someone to work by you and you about your business and they're around the yard, they sit down, smoke a cigarette, drinking, and does nothing whole day. What you have them there for? You're gonna keep paying them a monthly salary, and they come in and maybe one day will work, and the rest of the days they're just doing what they want. So I mean, it's a kind of obvious thing that should have been implemented a long time. And not working, you lose the job. I mean, you get your first warning, second warning, and that's it. Time for someone who's willing to do the job that they're being paid for. Now, this started long time and it spread like a cancer throughout society because we have that trickling down to even to the labor force in some instances because they're seeing it on, from the top, and subconsciously it gives them a sense of man, we could do that. Look, they're doing it up there. So who is we? You understand that kind of attitude? So we have to stop that. We have to change things. We have to. People must know that if you come to do a job and you're not doing it, you're going to lose the job. Someone who's willing to do it going to come next man, as Philip say, next man. Yeah. The next part
Agreed,
about this
Akil.
whole thing, what attracted me also was the fact that an MP should not be a minister. I do things sometimes. I'm a joiner, right? You know that. Yesterday, before I got a call from a customer, and she wanted a few things, and I said, listen to me. Right now, I explained to her going up as a candidate, and things going to be very busy, and then I have some other jobs that I put aside to do later on. So I would not have the time to take a job. And she started to smile, and you could hear the smile in her voice, and she was happy. And I say, well, I didn't know people get so happy when they get disappointed. She said, I'm just glad you told me that you couldn't do the job and didn't take it, and just had me waiting. So, and this is what a minister, what an MP doing the right thing should have done years gone by, when you realize, okay, cool, I have to deal with my constituency. You want to give me a ministerial position. How are we going to balance? How are we going to do that and be a minister also? How the time is going to work? And if they had look at it like that, they realize we would not have the time to do the both, and one is going to fail. And worst scenario, like with Minister Stuart Young, where he had three or four positions,
Yes,
right? Which one
yes.
is going to succeed? Which one? None.
Correct,
All will
correct.
fail. All will fail. And I'm telling my constituents right out, no way I am taking a ministerial position. That's PEP policy and that's my policy, right? So I come in to serve the constituents of St. Anne's East, and that's my job. That's my job. Now, if we
Correct,
get in there and
correct.
we don't have majority, we don't have majority to do the big things we want. We would need a good majority to do that. Even if I get in there and I have to fight against the elements, I have to deal with the local government, which we have seen failing. Not not only because of the people, the councillors as such, but a lot of times the counselors go in with a good heart and with good intentions, but they just get starved of tools, the tools they need to do the job. Some, yes, are lackadaisical and it's just a position to earn a dollar, but some really try. I have seen them trying, and and the lack of funding makes them look like they're inefficient, they can't do their job. But I understand that is a bigger issue than that a lot of the times, right? But that has to change. As I say, depending on the seats we have, we may not be able to change that and fix it immediately, but we could work on it. And then me, as your MP in the St. Anne's constituency, I could take steps to force certain actions, which is what going on now. You have
Exactly.
situations where you have bad roads and you have areas flooding and people suffering on different issues, water, etc. And if the MP took the interest that they should take in the constituents and put the effort in, physically going there, meeting with them, um, um, I wouldn't say protesting, but if you write letters and you're not getting a response and you're speaking with VASA, you're speaking with whichever Ministry of Works concerning the road, and I let's say I put myself in position, speak to them, set a date to meet on site and that kind of stuff, and it's not happening. Pull the constituents together and say, look, listen, I am trying, and you're showing them that you're working, you're showing them your letters, you're keeping them informed. I spoke to this one, this was sent in, this was the response, they're coming next week, I'll be there on the day they come in. So let's come together and deal with it. If it's not done, We stand, we say, look, Mr. Prime Minister, these things not happening, and this is outright, this is not good. We need this to be done. Let's see how we can resolve this, and I will be here with my constituents until that is done. Right?
But
Let's take a
Akil, you know
stand.
what? Right. What we have noticed, and you and I have been on the ground for over 3 years, the citizens don't even realize that the lack of representation in their
Mhm.
constituencies, it leads to the dysfunctionality we are experiencing. I mean, we have heard people actually say they have not seen their MP, their elected MP, in the past 5 years. I mean, the neglect, especially Akil, you have done some wonderful work pointing out the neglect in the communities, the drainage, the overall maintenance of what we are facing. And, I want to talk a little about, the maintenance issues that we see throughout Trinidad and Tobago, the total neglect of upkeeping. And this stems back to our production standards as a country, right? And we need, like you said, you don't hire someone, ladies and gentlemen, to work. You don't pay them a full day's work, and they come out and they do 1 hour's work for you. And you think that shit is satisfactory. And that is what is going on in our country. A 2 hour work day, a 3 hour work day is somewhat satisfactory. But when we look at first world countries, Akil, that's why we're so behind. We are becoming our worst enemy in terms of production. If we want to be a certain standard, we have to level up as a country, right? And we see it in parliament. When's the last time you heard a parliamentary debate about an MP bringing up something in their constituency? It's always some law they're trying to pass that does not impact Akil, the average citizen. It's a law that
Yeah.
you never hear them talking about St. Anne's. I've never turned on that channel and heard them talk constituency. It's usually a law that's so non-relative to what people are experiencing. So Akil, as we're talking about St. Anne's, what are some of the issues that are plaguing your constituency? And how do you think you can make a difference in that community?
Well, I right now I believe all the constituencies suffering from the same thing. Things so bad that is water, and Santa Cruz has so many springs coming off the mountains, and that water is just wasting away. I did 2 videos this week on that, and areas suffering for water. We have farmers. I myself was farming in Santa Cruz, right? Well, a few yards away from a river, and I was sharing a lot with a friend of mine. It was his land, and we had his brother come on board with us, and so we were doing our things individually. So I was doing pak choy and lettuce at the time, in the quantities where I was supplying extra foods with lettuce at one time. And I was in the market on a Saturday and on a Sunday, and restaurants I would do deliveries to. So I mean, it was nice while it lasted, but what happened was certain switched their watershed, and we will get water less. We didn't have enough storage to store enough water for three of us to water this area. And I'm talking about a 2.5 acre plot. That is small when we're talking about farming in a big way, right? So no way that lot, if it was fully planted, would have been able to get water on time, and the amount of water it needed, right? So I took a decision at that point in time, after probably 6 to 8 months I was doing that there, and I decided to take a step back, and I told my friend, I said, look, listen, me being here gonna make it harder for both of them. So I took my leave, and I actually went to work with a next farmer down in Brasso Caparo, right? And these simple issues. Now, you go and you put a pump in the river and you pump water to your plot and water in it, WASA could come and possibly seize your pump and charge you because it's against the law, right? A lot of people want to be law abiding citizens, but where do they push us to? They push us to a point where you're watching your crops, you no water in the pipe, the tank reserves finish, and you're watching the river and studying, okay, cool, I'll need X amount of feet of hose, how to get a pump thing, and I'll pump from the river. And then you do that, and then water comes down your throat, right? Although that same water going down the river straight to the sea and washing away. So it's madness, right? So one of the things I am guaranteed gonna work on, I'm going to help these farmers get the tools they need, get the support they need to to be able to do what they love because I mean it was frustrating for me and I know so I feel it. I know what they need, right? And it's not no rocket science to get this done. A next big issue in Santa Cruz, I was planting on the next part of Santa Cruz. My uncle was actually purchasing a piece of land, and we were in this purchase agreement for over 12 years, right? And the issue was the owner could not get the lease, right? You go in and they're fighting, they can't get the lease. And
Yes.
then you're hearing stories like some big shot want to buy the whole valley, so they're not giving anybody their leases, right? So you as a farmer want to invest big on your property and you don't have a lease. So it's a chance you're taking basically. After 12 years waiting to get to purchase that land, things changed financially. So we could not have finished the payment. It never came true in terms of the lease and thing, but even if it did, we didn't have the money to finish. Well, we could have found it, but it get
It's just
sour.
so much
Everything gets
bureaucracy.
sour.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
bureaucracy. I was last night when I was driving down from Port of Spain. I don't know if you heard it, Akil. They opened a agriculture processing facility in Maruga. But the first thing I thought, right? So it was this big to do when the prime minister was there and they were suddenly in talking about producing food as a nation. But what Akil is saying is so true. The infrastructure, if you don't have the water, if you don't have the necessary infrastructure, I don't know if anybody's been to Maruga lately, but the roads going to Maruga alone are an issue. So they opened this. I guess we'll see it more of it today in the paper. But this big agriculture plant in the industrial estate, which some of these industrial estates are just a facade of nothing. Because I know the one in Point Fortin has not it's a park literally with grass. It has not one business on it. So I'm waiting to see the actual physical building. But like you said, Akil, what about the water? What about all of these things have to work for solutions? You can't just say, "Oh, well, we put up a building and the infrastructure is not in place," and make these promises of jobs when you and I know why would you open this after 5 years of neglect for Maruga? Why would you open this in 3 weeks before election promising jobs, and you and I know it's probably not going to be up and running. So we as citizens have to start looking at the whole picture and understand that it is everything has to come together like Akil is saying. It's just not saying something and not doing it. So agriculture, Akil, has been on PEP's agenda from number one, and you have been a great advocate and adversary and of telling PEP how do these things work. But we need, like you said, we need a holistic approach to it. We need the caption of water. We need water to facilitate these. We need land. We need, instead of getting all these obstacles, Akil, that you're facing, like you said, getting a lease for a land in Trinidad. If anyone has ever experienced a land issue in Trinidad, it can take you decades to resolve because of the bureaucracy. and we, I personally have given up on several opportunities because the law behind it, the legal fees behind it, the lawyers are charging an astronomical amount of fees to get you to get the land that you are trying to get. So it is a holistic, it is just, it is, we are failing ourselves. That's what I'm trying to say. That is what we're trying to say. Akil, based on the ground, what has been your response so far for St. Anne's with the people? What are they saying? What are they saying they need?
Everything. Everything.
Everything.
As I say, I think the response, because as you know, I have worked many other constituencies. Actually, this constituency, I have actually worked the least. Um,
Right,
but that's gonna change. That's changing right now as we speak, right? And people are going to meet me who don't know me. Some people may not recognize me because of the change in the look
right,
and the job, right? Because from
right,
farmer to politician, that's a big jump in look.
right.
So
Yes,
so but I am still me. I am not the regular politician, right? I wouldn't even call myself a politician. I I am here to do a job because I see the need for people like myself to be in these positions to actually bring a different a different way, a different feel to the governance of the country. And I realized that I did not have a choice. The minute I started looking for ways to fix my situation and the situation for my children and by extension the rest of the children of Trinidad and Tobago, I realized that I could not stand by and pray and hope for a savior to step up and fix. I thought we had that with Kamala last time. I really thought things would have been a lot different. Yes, a lot improved, but yes, we still got a lot of mess with it also. So as I said, I realized I had no choice and I have to do this. It's not a matter of me wanting to do it, it's a matter of me having to do it. So I'm going to bring my regular way of living, thinking into this forum, into this political forum, and see how best I personally could make that change, to help to make that change for a better Trinidad and Tobago. Firstly, starting with my constituency. And I ask my constituents, give me that opportunity. Give me that opportunity to show you what I could do to change your situation or to help me change the situation because I can't do this by myself. Constituents, people have to realize, people of Trinidad and Tobago have to realize they must play their role also, right? They must get up and they must stand up for their rights. You see something going on, right? You don't like what's happening. For instance, all those protests we went on and we had very few people coming out. And these protests were important things, the cybercrime bill and all of that stuff. And people need to know they have to stand up because we have been trying the other way and it's not working. Things getting worse. So we have to stand up when things not going right and fix it. If I go there and I do something wrong, well that won't be me. That will be an imposter. But if it does happen, stand up, come deal with it and defend your future and your children's future because that's what it is.
right.
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
Akil, you said it. We have to understand as citizens. Last night I was listening to the radio, and a lot of citizens are so they're so disenchanted with what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, we are looking at a country that, and once oil-rich nation, currently our debt to GDP ratio is over. It's probably close or right over 70%. So basically, for every dollar earned, 70% is debt, right? And we don't understand the big picture. We are not looking at the big picture. And many citizens, Akil, I know you're hearing it because I'm hearing it. I'm not voting. What is that going to do? People, ladies and gentlemen, that is not the solution. That is, you are actually saying yes to the current problem by not saying no and voting them out. You are currently saying yes if you take that stance not to vote. We are anticipating the current August 10th election being the election of elections. This is an opportunity to change our country. This is an opportunity to say no to the deficiencies, decades of neglect. We see persons such as Akil Camps. Our candidates are real people that understand. They're working, they're entrepreneurs, they're business owners, but they understand what the average citizen is going through because they themselves are the average citizen. What we are facing now in Parliament are people that are so disconnected, Akil, to what is going on in the ground. They're so disconnected in terms of their lifestyle, in terms of we talk about the blue lights and we joke about that blue light, but until you've experienced traffic in Trinidad and Tobago, you will not understand and come up with a solution because there's no requirement for it. Your blue light takes you down the road. But when I leave Cedros Akil, I leave hours ahead of time. Because I know the traffic situation. If I'm stuck, there's no alternate route to get to Port of Spain. There's just the one highway. And of course, I could sidetrack it, but I still have to get back on the highway. So until you start to understand the issues this average citizens face, why would you come up to us with a solution? And that's what we're facing, right, Akil? We're facing MPs that are so disconnected with the average person on the ground. I mean, when you hear the average citizen say they don't have a dollar, Akil, I don't know how that impacts you, but it speaks volumes for Trinidad and Tobago right now. We are hearing people saying they don't have food, they don't have a dollar. Akil, how does that resonate with you? Because that is, to me, it's just heart wrenching to hear that.
The what since joining the PP, that was the hardest thing for me to deal with because we get people we get people supporting the party, and when you hear these people's stories, and in fact they want to do more in terms of being there, walkabout sector, but they can't afford to take that taxi to reach in town, let's say. And then if they do spend that money to take the taxi, they're not sure they could buy something to eat with the change remaining and still reach home afterwards. And that's the reality in a lot of cases. I put a person on to you last week. She called. She has a family down south, and she's not working, and she under trouble, and she just don't support the other two parties. So she is not taking help from them in terms of when they come around. She's just not telling them, hey, I could do with some assistance in order to get some of these election goodies that they're handing out because it's against her feeling. And and that's tough. And she's waiting on her grant still also, eh? So that's a next story. But touching back on something you spoke about earlier, in my constituency, there's roughly 28,000 people that could vote. That was talking about 2015. Out of that, 10,600 did not vote. That's a that's a
Yes,
huge number of people, and that just
yes.
confirms what you said. People so they just fed up of
Love
politics.
to. Yes,
You see a politician and they're like, oh God, go on, go on, go on, go on. I want to hear all is the same, right?
yes.
But I mean, I have a message for those people. PP is a new party, right? We 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 have formed because of exactly what these people are saying. They fed up our politicians and well the old ones because we are new. we haven't been there, right? Um, with respect to the putting back the UNC or the PNM, you shouldn't build a new house on an old foundation with cracks. That's the best I could tell them. I say, don't do that. Don't expect your new house to stand up. Don't expect voting for the UNC, putting back the UNC there, that house is gonna stand up on that old foundation. These two parties basically are one. The finances of these two parties, we know for a fact, seen it over the years. You get little stories coming out. These finances finance the two parties, and the reason for doing that is to control them. When they give, they want back, and sometimes they want back triple, quadruple, or in some cases 10 times what they give,
Mm-hmm.
right? We cannot build a new house on an old foundation, Trinidad and Tobago. We, the
Yes,
PP,
yes,
have given you that new foundation. Let's put that
yes,
new house on this new foundation, and let's fix Trinidad and Tobago. Bring Trinidad and Tobago to the standard we wanted to first world standard. Let's have, let's create that better future for the young ones coming up. We might not benefit too much from it, us older people, but the young ones will. They will have a
yes.
brighter future, right? And with God's help, better yet. Yeah.
Yes, Akil. I know you have, lovely girls and you have children, and I know, I have known Akil personally for over 3 years, and I know he is fighting for the future of his children. We're fighting for a better country, and when we say better country, we are not talking about the little handouts they're giving you. We're not talking about the little URP, the 10-day job they're giving you. We're talking about a future for Trinidad and Tobago. We're talking about a country that works. When you go to get your birth certificate, you can complete that in minutes. It's not a runaround. When you go to get a land tax form or something, it's not a back and forth. We're talking about a country that works. And for those of you that have experienced it, you know what we are talking about. When you go to the US, last time I was in the States, Akil, I had to go get my birth certificate. And my mind is, because I live in Trinidad, I told my mom, I'll see you this afternoon.
Mm,
But I left early because I,
mhm.
I, I went in there with that Trinidad mindset. I don't know why, because I've lived in the US, all my life. So I
Yeah.
went there, Akil, literally in 5 minutes, I was out. Like literally, I just went to a computer, typed in my name, typed in my date of birth, and typed in the city I was born in. I literally walked to the cashier and she had it printed out. And I thought to myself, wow, if only that could happen in Trinidad and Tobago. If only everything worked as we wanted to work. So, people, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we are talking about. That is what Akil Camps is fighting for the constituency of St. Anne's. We want everything to work. We want the drain to be cleaned regularly. We don't want this dysfunctionality that we're all facing. We don't want to have to deal with water issues. How we have Akil posted an article, and I remember I shared it. We have been promising water since 1960. Are we not fed up of talking about the same issue over and over again, switching the parties, and no one comes up with a solution, Akil? No one, because it's deliberate. This is what we are facing in China. We are facing deliberate incompetence. So they continue selling us the same package. And we at the Progressive Empowerment Party, we're bringing solutions. And Akil and I always talk about, when we go to speak to constituents, we know solutions. We have the answers, right, Akil? Our 21
Mm.
policies, Akil, you are an advocate of our 21 policies. What do you think our 21 policies represents for the country?
Change, full change. If God willing, if we get in office and have that ability to implement all those policies, woo, Trinidad, all you in
Yes.
for, all you in for a ride. because the
Yes.
change. I get excited when we talk in policies. All
Yes.
these policies, all these policies link together like a chain, right? If every link is implemented, you have you have the power and the strength of that chain, that bond there, that gonna change your social living. It's gonna change your job opportunities. It's gonna change the way we feed ourselves. It's gonna change health issues in Trinidad and Tobago. It's gonna change the crime situation. It's going to change how we treat the elderly, how we treat the mentally
Ill. Yeah.
all
Mentally
all
ill.
all
Yes.
all all
Yes.
all 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 and it's everything is going to change together. That's how it has to be done. We're gonna have to
Yes.
create jobs and opportunities, fix healthcare. Now this job not gonna be easy. It's gonna be tough. And people naturally don't like change. So I know some people may be upset. They would have to get accustomed to to, to, to the new norm.
Yes.
You have to know that if you drive up the shoulder in traffic, you're going to guarantee you're going to get that ticket, be it from a police waiting there or a camera pick you up and you get it in email within a week, right?
Yeah.
These are the kind of the things that we need to fix. Small things and come up to the big things. It could happen. All we need is the right people there, the right management to put these things in place and get it done. And this is what the PP represents. This is what we
Yes.
represent, that change. And you, Trinidad and Tobago, you have that opportunity now to help make that change. Don't waste it. Don't waste it,
Yes.
right? Go in that voting booth on August 10th and stain your finger. Look for the PEP. Look for the umbrella. Put your
Yes.
finger right there. Put that X right there. Give us that opportunity. What you can lose, you have nothing to lose. We done.
You're right.
Some people say we done
Yes.
sink already, right? We
Right.
going. We
Yes.
the PEP is going into office taken over from a party, a government that refused to read the budget before they call election. Why they did that? Ask yourself that question. Why? No, the norm is you read your budget and you're throwing a whole set of goodies to give the people in order to make them happy, and you know the 9 day syndrome, so they will know they were happy just before election. They go in the voting booth and they vote for that government, right? But they didn't even do that. So things have to be
No.
real bad. Yeah,
Akil,
things. So
there's no more goodies. There's no more goodies to give the people. There's no, yesterday a radio
mhm.
host pointed out yesterday that he himself has noticed this election climate is totally different. He said there's no more giveaways. He said he made a joke yesterday that in the past. So I'm really hope Trinidadians are and Tobagans are paying close attention to this because he said in the past you would take a T-shirt from every party that passed and you wore your T-shirts and he said he hadn't even seen that in this election season. I mean we are really only ladies 26 days away from election. So to not see that in the air is a clear indication of where we stand in a country. As Akil said, the budget was the gift, and they would give the trinkets, and they would increase pension, and they would do this, and they would do that, and everybody would be totally gung ho on this party. But now they cannot even do that because we are sinking as a nation. We at the Progressive Empowerment Party are not here to give you a dismal picture. We are being realistically of what we are facing. If 70% of our income is debt, what could they honestly offer the citizens? What could you honestly offer the citizens at this point? You have to pay back all this debt. The prime minister last night indicated they have taken loans upon loans. He indicated that in his speech last night in Maruga. So it's not something that's not available. So ask yourself why this snap election. Ask yourself that. Ask yourself why was the budget not read? Because it is a clear indication of a country sinking. a clear indication of a country sinking. And we have to understand that we have to find solutions, as Akila and I are talking, to this country. We have to find solutions that work. And Akil, I know you're a farmer, and I know you have been so actively involved in that. But Akil, give me a summary of how do you think investing in agriculture is going to change this country? How do you think that is really going to change us as a nation?
Michelle, we have to thank God. We have to really go down and pray and thank God that this COVID thing wasn't as bad as
Yes.
it was predicted to be for us here in Trinidad, because I don't want to know what would have happened if we weren't able to import food and the regular stuff that coming in to supply groceries and that kind of thing. You Trinidad and Tobago, you picture no ships coming in with any rice, with no tin foods, with no meat, with nothing, none of the essentials. What would have happened to us? And that only through COVID we started to hear talks again about diversifying, bringing back agriculture and food self sufficiency, and we started to hear these talks, but we heard it, but what is being implemented? And still, every the saying, when the hurricane come in and the hurricane pass and they say God is a Trini, right? I think that God is a Trini thing coming back with this COVID thing too. God is a Trini, we good to go. So they're not taking it serious. We don't know what the Lord have planned for us in the future. We need to feed ourselves, at least feed ourselves, and at best feed ourselves and export food. So turn that 5 billion, or how much it is in import expenditure, let's turn that to 5 billion in revenue. Yeah, and it's not hard to do. We have farmers here willing. We have lands that just growing grass, and in some instances it's because the farmers may not have the capital to invest to plant the area, and in other instances is some big shot 1% apply for the land to farm on and are just waiting to meet somebody they could bribe to change it from agriculture to commercial and put up a warehouse or something, right? And in some instances, people have no choice because they realize the agriculture sector is not getting that support, and they see it as not viable and not that it won't make the income, so they convert the agricultural land and put up apartments or storage warehouse or something, right? We need to change that thinking. We need to give that support. A few years ago, they were giving out land in Orange Grove, and a few farmers would tell me, boy, you're gonna apply for the land, you're gonna apply for the land. But I realized long before that you can't plant on a land, a piece of property, and not be there to secure it. You're setting up yourself to fail. I have planted pimentos in Reservoir Road in Santa Cruz, and the first picking was like 3 or 4 crocus bags of pepper. And when I went back the following week to pick, or 2 weeks, it was 3 or 4 high-low bags. Yeah? And then you go to the police station now to make a report, and the officer is treating you like you wrong. They want to
Yes.
see deed for the land, and this, that, the other. They tell them it's a civil matter. And the amount of questions that I answer, I swear I was the bandit.
Yes.
And it was
Yes.
frustrating. I just had to walk
Yes.
out of there, shake my head and walk out. I talked about years ago, this even before they give you a receipt for a report and that kind of stuff. So the pre-deal
Yes.
larceny squad, something has to be done better than that. Or
Right.
some arrangement. I mean, I wouldn't advise a farmer to plant on a piece of land that he's not living close to, or he do at least have somebody overseeing it for him. That is madness. That could send you crazy. Imagine investing 10, $12,000 on a crop, and then and the week to pick, the owner come and take it. I quarreled with
Yes.
my wife. I quarreled with my wife last week or week before. She bought a whole set of pineapples, and they were very
Mm-hmm.
small, and the price was real good. And I was like, why you do that? And she said, well, the price is good. I said, you know where he get that? Why would he pick the pineapple so small? Why he didn't leave it to
Mm,
get big? I mean, it could have been a genuine farmer and it was his stuff, but it could have been stolen also. And then
right,
as someone buying these goods, the system know how are you to know if you're buying stolen goods or not, right?
right.
The system now is not set up for that. What the PEP wants to do is implement a system where all farmers must be registered. Anybody buying from the farmers must get a receipt that would have the farmer's registration number, right? Anytime you could ask for that as a consumer, or you have the pre larceny squad going to be passing around areas. They see somebody selling on the side of the highway, they will stop. Okay, let me see a receipt for the goods you're selling,
Yes,
right? Or let me see if you're a farmer, and then the farmer will be registered. But most of the times, some farmers they only do a small variety of crops, so they don't go into all. So I mean, if you see lettuce, pak choy, um, um, pineapple, whatever, and then you see
right.
they planting oranges now. You see them selling oranges.
Yes,
For you to jump from that to oranges, it will take some years. So it could be possibly stolen oranges. So I mean,
right.
it's simple things we could do to the two in the first year you do that, people in the business of robbing farmers and going and sell their produce, they're going to find something else to do. And in fact, they will have that
Exactly.
opportunity because the PEP is going to create jobs where everybody will have opportunity to have an honest job. So they would not need to steal and do these things
Correct.
and throw all this stress on a farmer. You would have a choice of jobs. Okay, I could go and do this. I could go and assemble phones in the Beatum where
Correct.
the Beatum landfill was because we would invite foreign investors to come in, set up your assembly plant. We give you electricity. We give you all we want you to do. Hire our people and train them. Let's advance the
Right.
nation from the ground up. We create opportunities. The bandits, the criminals, gonna see they have opportunities. They have means to live an honest life. A lot of them gonna deter from this way of crime. It will take a little time, but it could happen. And the ones who decide they still want to do the crime, we have Gary there. All Gary missing now is the
Ex-
proper backing from the government. This government,
right.
they joking around with Gary. They're not giving Gary the support he wants. If they were giving Gary
Right.
the support he wants, they would have gone to Parliament and enact a law where all the police officers had to take that lie detector test. But they didn't do
Yes.
that. They didn't do that. They leave Gary now.
Correct.
They say, okay, cool, it's not a law. I can't force no police to take a lie detector test. But that's strippiness. That's strippiness. The Minister
Right.
of National Security should have go to Parliament one time and say, I want a law to make every single police officer mandatory to take a lie detector test, be it every month, every other month, however they want to do it. So you as a police officer,
Yes.
you had to go now and train to be the best liar in the world. Go and train to be the best liar. You want to be
Exactly.
a crook, you want to shoot people unjustly, and you want to do run blocks and all this shit happening in the police service, and we know it. I don't have to prove that. Everybody knows that's what's going on.
Yes.
And this lie detector
Yes.
test implemented, this gonna weed out a lot of them because them liars ain't that good. They're not that
Exactly.
good. They can't lie through everything. Give Gary the tools he
Exactly.
need. That's
Yes.
all.
I mean, and
You're
Akil,
going.
it's about tools, like you're saying, Akil, because that is what the problem is in Trinidad. We don't have the proper systems and tools in place to address the issues we are facing. If we have corruption, we are a country, ladies and gentlemen, we are plagued by corruption in Trinidad. Every element to do anything in Trinidad is corrupted. You go to get a driver's license, you literally pay to get the driver's license, then you have to pay on top of that just to get a regular test that is part of the process. We are doing things the corrupt way, hence the reason we are sinking as a society. It cannot be everything you have to do in Trinidad. You have to pay for it. You have to pay on top of it. We talked, Akila's talking about crime. Well, what is the root of crime? We are facing poverty like we have never seen in this country. And until citizens understand that these two are related, The crime is directly an origin of the poverty that is going on in this country. If farmers are being abused and their crops are being stolen, why would people need to do that? Why would they need to steal those crops? Because it's for survival. And right now in Trinidad, it's a survival. I feel like Akil. Sometimes I feel like we're in a boxing match in Trinidad. Everybody just trying to survive. I don't think people are living anymore. I think it's just, and we hear that everyone tells you, I have to go to work, I have to do this, and we see it's just a survival mode. That's what we are living right now. We are not living as a country. We're trying to be safe. We're trying to avoid the criminal elements in our society. When we go to the grocery, well, that's another story, Akil, altogether. We don't even have time. The grocery bill
Hmm.
in this country it just makes you shake your head. How does the average person survive with a family of two children when you face dry goods of sometimes as high as $1,500, probably lasting you maybe 2 weeks, if that, if you're lucky. We're not talking about vegetables. We're not talking about the market. We're not talking about growth, meat. We are just talking about basic stuff, right, Akil? Akil, how's the grocery bill in your house? Because you have children.
I know for a fact there's families who live day to day with groceries. So they don't
Yes.
even know their grocery bill. They don't know it because they will say, okay, cool, we're cooking tomorrow. And they go and say, okay, all right, I'll go and buy some peas, I'll buy a chicken, I'll buy some rice or do macaroni, whatever. And they go every day to the grocery because that's how the money come. And that's if it come. And that's the sad
Yes.
state of our country. And
Yes.
we who are probably not at that level in terms they're a little more comfortable would never understand that, especially if
Yes.
you're isolating yourself from the people in these situations. There are a few instances where they may have friends or workers that may express certain things to them, but a lot of Trinidadians have pride and they wouldn't tell
Yes.
they wouldn't tell the situation. We have people walking around in Trinidad with a smile on their face and we don't know what they're going through. And there's no
No.
avenue for them to turn to. The avenue they have to turn to is to go to a minister and beg and do favors to the minister, and sometimes it's bad favors to better their lives. And that's the sad reality. And this is what has to
Yes,
change in the country. And
Akil.
the only way this could change is to mash up that old foundation and build a new foundation to take this new house that we, the PEP, gonna help you and you're gonna help us to build on this new foundation that is the PEP. Put PEP in
Exactly.
office, put the
Akil.
Progressive Empowerment
Yes.
Party in office, and let's build that new house together. Let's shine again in the Caribbean. Trinidad and Tobago, we are the beacon of the Caribbean, and we need to light that beacon. We right now that beacon is like the lighthouse in Port of Spain. It's leaning and heading down to sink. Let's straighten that up. Let's light it back and let's shine as a country.
Yes.
Let's fix this Trinidad and
I
Tobago.
Well said, Akil. Akil, in closing, can you believe we've been talking almost an hour? But in closing, in your
Yeah.
last 2 minutes, last minute, what would you tell the constituents of Saint Anne East, and why should they vote for you?
Um, what I would tell them, I can't promise much things. I can tell you what policy wise what we intend to do. All this depends on how everything plays out, and we don't know that now. Only God knows. But I could promise you this: you will see me on the ground. I will be there. If you put me in office, something must happen. I know one thing you wouldn't say is I'm not seeing my MP. You will be fed up
Yes.
of me. And I hope if it's once a month, the day you know I come in, you have a nice pot of food cook, I can get a plate of food because I plan to work. I am not a dead horse. I come in this
Yes.
full. I have given up a lot. I've spoken to my family and they understand and they are hardly seeing me, and I want to make a change, and this is how I see I could make a change and a big change, and I'm going to give my all. And people who know
Yes.
me know I don't even try hard to give my all. So if I trying harder now to give my all, expect the unexpected. That's all I can tell. Expect the unexpected. Give me this opportunity. Just give me. I want this. I need this. I need I need to help you to have a better country. I need to do
Yes.
that. I I've been feeling this for a long while. I wasn't sure what it was, and then the opportunity just arose now, and I know I have to do it. I believe God
Yes.
sent me here for this. I really,
Yes.
really believe that against all the elements, everything. My mom talks to me all the time. She's worried about the politics, and I say, Mom, this have nothing to do with me and you. I believe God sent me to do this, right? And
Yes.
who God bless, no man curse, right? I
Exact.
will do my
Akil.
best. Put me
Yes.
in office.
Yes.
Let me work for you. I'm not here. I'm not going into power. I'm going in office. And I'm not going to work for myself. I'm coming to work for you, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
Citizens of St. Anne's East, Las Cuevas, Maracas, almost to Lafayette. Come down the North Coast Road into Santa Cruz, Cantaro, La Pastora, Susconosco, coming down Sawa, Paxville, um, up in Hololo, the opposite side,
Mhm.
straight down to Corey Street. We heading down to the Quasi where the sewer line still bust and leaking into the
Yes.
river since last year September. What's up? Still in order tail for that. I come in hard. Don't worry, I ain't done. All you, I'm gonna embarrass all you more now with this wasser main leaking there. All on the hills on the next side going up Bagatelle, Lavantil Road. I coming to you all. I know you all have been supporting the PNM, but this foundation, this PNM foundation has cracks, deep, deep, deep cracks. You don't even want to venture down in there. You could get eaten. It have all kind of animals down in there. Let's build a, let's support and build this new foundation. Put this new foundation, as I say, and let's build a new house on this foundation. I am coming to you. I hope and pray that I could talk to as much as you of you all as possible. I want to meet everybody. I wouldn't might remember your name, but I remember your face. And if you put me in office, I want to build a database where I could interact with all my constituents via email, WhatsApp, whatever it may be. This is going to be important. I want to hear you. I want to be guided by your needs, and I want to let you know what I am doing. And if I'm trying to do something via the government and it's not working, I need your support. I need your
Yes.
support to help me to force the hands of power as such to get the job done. We're not taking no nonsense again. As after July 10th, things gonna be different. Anybody in
August 10th.
office, anybody with a job must know that they have to do their job. Let's hope and pray that the whole party gets in and we actually have a PEP government. But if that don't happen, and let's say I am there, I am still going to fight. I am going to be like a lion. I will fight for you. I will do my best. And I will be held accountable for what I say I'm going to do. Yeah?
Thank you, Akil. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is your candidate for St. Anne's East, Akil Camps, a gentleman I've had the privilege of knowing. I endorse 2000%. He is here to serve the constituents of St. Anne's East. We are the Progressive Empowerment Party. We are the solutions. We are the answer to what our country faces. Vote solutions. Vote ideas to take us to a first world country. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us today. Akil, thank you very much. Join us tomorrow on another edition of Pep Talks in the Morning. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago. And again, make your vote count, Progressive Empowerment Party. Thank you and have a great day.